No. Did you see that story about the Project Veritas where they exposed that superintendent? It was the dean of education, dean of academics in Chicago.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video, but I read the articles about it because I don't know, my soul is being chipped away by listening to all of these just open and out pedophiles. But again, in California, just not shocked by that type of stuff because these people, they don't hide it here. I don't know in other parts of the country if these pedo enablers are a little bit more undercover about it, but they real open about it in this place. But yeah, the different sex toys that he wanted little children to be around. Arrest this person. Arrest. This is why I think it's so important that we, at bare minimum, we got to start taking back these sheriff positions, because how is that not an arrestable offense? You've got sex toys with small children. That's a clear arrest for me and an investigation upon anybody who's totally fine with that. Because you're just insane.
Yeah, no, fair point. When are the sheriffs are going to get activated to take care of things like that? Because it's happening. If it's happening there in these areas, we see it happen in Chicago. We see it happen in Pennsylvania. We see Libs of TikTok is continually to expose these individuals along with Project Veritas. It's a much more deeply rooted problem within our public school system. That for every one of those, how many others go unreported?
Look at that dude, by the way. That's insane.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, has anyone looked more like a Pixar character to you?
Yeah.
He looks like a Pixar guy.
He looks like if Pixar was, showing a pedophile. But I will say this, though, like you said, taking back the sheriff's office, and it's a problem in California. But what gets to me is I think people forget that earlier this year, it was Texas, of all places, that the police were actually arresting or escorting, I should say, parents or protesters who didn't want parents taking their 5-year-olds into strip clubs.
Yeah.
So it's not like it, that's what's so crazy to me is people, I hear this constantly. Oh, that'll never happen in Texas, or that'll never happen in Florida, or these places. I'm like, it is happening though, and it is happening, and the police are enabling it too. So it's I don't know, it's just crazy to me. It's like, this is disgusting, it's awful, but it's like you only have to look back a few months to see police like actively keeping people from protesting and then supporting parents breaking the law in front of them, which is taking children into strip clubs, was already illegal.
Yeah, well, it's going to be harder to take over the police departments because the chief of police and the mayor and the city council, those people are all intertwined. But right. The sheriff's position is an elected position, and so there's an opportunity to grab that. And these people aren't dumb. They grabbed all of these positions knowing exactly what they were going to be doing. As you've seen the George Soros operatives, all of these I mean, this is why they threw that Sheriff Arpaio out in Arizona. I don't know, like 8 years ago at this point.
I remember that. Yeah,
they
2018.
Yeah. They go, we got to get rid of him because he's a racist. No, you got to get rid of him because he ain't going to put up with any of this nonsense that you guys are doing in Arizona, because Arizona apparently extraordinarily key to you guys because you run a lot of children and drugs through that open border down there. And so they're not, I mean, these people, I think a lot of people on our side, and, it's easy to make the AOC videos. It's easy to make the Elon Omar videos. It's easy to make these videos of these useful idiots who've been put in these positions of power as puppets. But the people behind them and putting them in these positions of power, these are some evil sons of bitches, and they know exactly what they're doing. They planned this out, and they put a lot of money, time, effort, and resources into it, and they've got a game plan that exceeds our, most of people, everybody that I'm around, like we're like, okay, well, how are we going to get food on the table this week? These people don't operate like that. They don't care about this. These are generational thinking individuals, and they're sitting there going, well, I want my great grandkid to be king of Arizona. So what do I got to do in my position right now to make that happen, 150 years from now? They've been doing this. And so there's a reason why in all these places where, they were allowed to burn. A lot of people go, well, Antifa, Antifa gets out there, they burn. Antifa don't burn anything down because they're strong and empowered. Antifa's burning shit down because they're allowed to burn shit down, because these people have ganked all of these positions of power and they've turned off law and order. These aren't motivated individuals. These aren't individuals who can get together and form a coherent sentence and a game plan. These are people who are allowed to set these places on fire, and they've been allowed to set these places on fire because operatives have been put in place.
Well, that's why they wanted to
Sorry,
show up
we've got a bunch of super chats on this side telling everyone they have to drink. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's why they shut up the journalists who wanted to expose the fact that George Soros was paying these protesters to, well, not just to show up, but he was actually buying them flights and hotels to go from city to city back in the summer of love of 2020. So
Yeah, you see you can see the same Antifa van. It's in Portland,
Right.
and then somebody gets shot in Minneapolis, and it's the same Antifa van.
Yeah. Yep.
It's all over, and we have these, as you said, they've infiltrated all these sectors. We see them, kneeling for BLM as they went through the cities back in 2020, and not doing anything. But the people that were actually protesting against, vaccine mandates and mask mandates and shutting down people's businesses, no, those people got arrested, shut down, and thrown into gulags. So we see how they, treat each other, and we see how they treat, protesters. We got January 6th guys, they're still in gulags over there. I wish, we would actually had a base military, kind of like what we see happening in Brazil right now.
I just want to pause really quick. Waffle Salter with the huge $100 super chat.
Oh.
Cheers, Berserkers. Wow, thank you, Waffle Salter.
Thank you, Waffle Salter.
Waffle Salter,
Nice
our
work, brother.
meme master.
Yeah.
This was by design. They implemented policies that drove good people out of the police and out of the military, and now they can do whatever they want now that all the good people are gone.
Yeah.
So my question is, the guy at the Chicago school that you pay $38,000 a year for so your kid can get a butt plug, he says that's the best part of his job. What's the worst part?
What when he is on the receiving end of said butt plug? Or maybe that's the best part, Tim. I don't know. I mean,
It's Tom, but that's right.
do we want to?
Good
I know,
Lord.
I know you said that you kind of like blackpilled on these clips, Salty, but do we want to play a little bit of it for people? Because to me,
It's only 2
it's
minutes.
I just want to play a little bit of it because he keeps repeating himself, so you don't have to play the whole thing. But like, to me, it's crazy because this guy is a guy who's so beyond excited to talk about this that he can't shut up about it.
Hey, before you do that, just want to call out Tater and Eggs for $100
wow.
I got here.
Tater and eggs.
Yeah, so thank you so much,
Beautiful.
my friend.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you have the video there? Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Meet Joe Bruno, Dean of Students at the prestigious Francis W. Parker Private School in Chicago, which happens to charge $40,000 per student.
They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're like, how does this butt plug work? How do we do how does this work? That's a really cool part of my job.
Parents might be stunned to learn that Bruno's version of love and acceptance means handing out sex toys to underage students.
So I've been the dean for 4 years. During Pride, we do a Pride Week every year, and I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex.
What's crazy to me is when I first heard this clip, I was listening to a podcast. I wasn't watching it. And I thought the podcaster had looped the clip because he says this so many times.
Yep.
Like there's another minute and a half of it, and we don't have to play it because it's literally him saying the exact same line over and over and over. And he's just like excited to talk about this. He's like super proud of himself. He's like, look how progressive I am. Look how great this is that we're passing around dildos and butt plugs and talking about spit. He says the same freaking line over and over like a broken record. And
The kids are right to ask, like, what does this do? How do I use this? What does this do? Because of nothing. You don't use it. It doesn't work. How does this work? No, don't ask. Don't tell.
And somebody did say that, does this guy look like the arms dealer we just sent back for Brittany Griner?
Yeah.
He kind of does, though. I wonder if there's been a huge uptick in people renting Lords of War off of Amazon Prime right now. Because you guys know that's who that was based on, right?
Yeah, Nicolas
Nick Cage, Lord of War.
Yeah, Lord of War was based on the guy that we just sent back to Russia. So
Now, isn't it interesting that they also, as part of his release, one of the stipulations is Victor Boot cannot make any money from stories of his life or likeness? I think that's a little interesting.
considering that right now that movie that most people didn't see in 2007 is getting like huge numbers.
Well, they're going to have to remake it, but now as him as the villain.
I said the hero.
They didn't realize they were going to have to roll on one of their own spies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fair trade, wasn't it, Salty? Brittany Griner for Victor Boot.
I love it. I think this is. Did you see? There's a video of him. I think he's being interviewed on RT, and he's explaining how, first of all, there's an interview from I think 2012 where he says, "Listen, I want to get out of here. He goes, yeah, America won't be around in another 20 years. You guys are an empire in collapse. Because I'm going to walk right out of this place. He was 100% right. And now he's back in Russia, and they're all making fun of us. They're sitting there going, look, the Merchant of Death is more upset about an American Marine being left in Russia than the lefties in this country are. And I think that this is an eye opener for normies.
Well, wouldn't you be mad too if you were traded back for Brittany Griner?
Oh, listen, I would hang myself.
It would be embarrassing.
He's like, wait, I was worth a lot more than just her.
You guys ever see the movie Semi-Pro where they traded Woody Harrelson's character for a washing machine? That's kind of what this trade felt like.
If we were actually sure she was a woman, I would be a little bit more on board with saving a woman from a Russian prison.
Oh.
Thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Last American Pubcast, the only podcast where everybody knows your name. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join us on a Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, you might get stuck with the tab.